So much for calling.
Great. Katie Albright,
Here.
Shayna Hazen, Elsa Jimenez,
Here.
Jackie Majors, Marco Mijic, Vivian Velasco Paz,
Present.
Lori Riso.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a quorum. Appreciate everyone and your time today. I'm going to ask Director Wong to lead us in the land acknowledgement in terms of starting our meeting off today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This land acknowledgement is crafted adapted from the guidance of from the California Indian Culture and Sovereignty Center at CSU San Marcos. So as we begin, we acknowledge that this virtual commission meeting is taking place throughout the unceded territory of California, home to nearly 200 tribal nations. As we begin this commission meeting, we acknowledge and honor the original inhabitants of our various regions. A land acknowledgement is a critical step towards working with Native communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. Let's take a moment to honor these ancestral grounds that we are collectively gathered upon and support the resilience and strength that all Indigenous people have shown worldwide. We here are currently meeting here from First Five California in Sacramento, and it is the ancestral homeland of the Nisenan, Maidu, Miwok, and Miwok peoples, who are the Indigenous peoples of this land and have lived here since time immemorial.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that land acknowledgement. And I appreciate all of you in this inaugural meeting. Just been named chair. I'm so grateful to the team we met yesterday to walk me through our agenda, which we have a big one. I want to also thank Chair Perez for her incredible leadership and serving as the commission chair this last year. We've benefited all so much from her service in the early childhood community and her expertise. And I wish her well in her success on her new endeavors. Truly, her effective leadership was instrumental to ensure that all children, our youngest in our state, have a healthy start of life in their first 5 years. I'm super grateful and honored to follow in her footsteps because we all know, and we're here because every infant and young child deserves a strong foundation for a promising future. I said this in my press remarks, together our commission, and I really hope that word together is underscored in working with you, fellow commissioners, as we champion the rights of young children, nurture their potential, focus on equitable outcomes, and ensure that our youngest residents thrive in the embrace of the community that cares. And for me, the focus on community is critical. So thank you so much. I do look forward to working together. I hope there's opportunities for us to meet in person as we go forward. Director Wong and I talked about the opportunity of thinking about a retreat for us to both be together and think about our strategic priorities. So more to come on that. And I look forward to spending time with you as our work moves forward together. So thank you. Thank you very much. And I'd like to provide a brief overview for today's meeting. We have 2 action items that are of critical importance. First up is our consent calendar, which includes approval of the June meeting minutes and an agreement ratification, as well as the refugee family support extension. We have a presentation on that. I think it will be a meaningful one. We'll then have 3 information items, which include an update on the current media campaign. I've had a preview, it's awesome. A discussion of future RFPs regarding the new campaign and investments, and then an update on our current Kit for New Parents program, and a discussion on future investments and recommendations for the Kit. Those components will lead us as foundational for our October meeting. And so now that you've heard the goals of the meeting, we'll have some quick items to discuss and ensure that we meet the quorum for today's agenda. So that is that I'm going to request that we move item 7, which is the refugee family support extension, up to item 4, so we are able to address that and ensure we have a quorum just in case people's schedules don't allow for the full meeting. And then we'll move back to the rest of the agenda at that point. So the other item I want to ask is about conflict of interest. And so I ask if anyone, if you have any agenda item that presents a conflict or a potential conflict for you, we want to obtain this information in advance to ensure that we can focus on non-participation in any of these in terms of compliance with any applicable law. So question for you, do any of the items today present a conflict of interest for you? And if so, if you can just let us know. Okay, I'm seeing the shakes of head and assuming those all mean no, so thank you so much. I also do not have a conflict, so we'll go to our next item, which is about reports, and I asked Director Wong if you could give us your executive director report. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for accepting the position as chair, as our next chair. Grateful for the work that former Chair Perez has poured into us. We are a better organization from learning from her passion and her dedication to early childhood, and we look forward to continuing that work with you under your leadership. And so we will move on to, we'll look to Simon to bring up the deck, if that's okay.
Give me one moment, bringing it up now.
Thanks, Simon.
And I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you, Simon. So we're going to go into presentation mode or not? You can go on to the next slide.
Can everyone see the overview of the ED report and what it'll include?
We can, well,
Okay.
the slide has not moved, so we're not in presentation mode, so it's still on the first slide. I can just talk through it. So my ED report will be an overview of just the work that's been in process now. We traditionally, over the last couple of meetings, wanted to, what we've lovingly renamed the Candyland map of where all of our projects are, because we're doing so many things in this process, from development to asking the commission to exploratory research. So there are, in the Candyland map, I believe I'm not sure if it's attached, but you will receive it later, the status of where, visually, where all of these programs are in process right now. So Simon, I don't know if you fixed your, there it is. And so you can see that, for example, our fatherhood initiative, we're still, and newcomer support programs are still under development concept because we have not yet come to the full commission for approval. We're presenting, for example, today they're presenting a concept about the future media campaign and the new kit for new parents. When we finalize the concept, we actually come back and request funding, at which time we begin to develop a project. And there we have several programs that are in that bucket. So the behavioral health program, the PEARLS, which is the early literacy, P5 data landscape, so just a longitudinal data analysis. And so with that, we've been working with the agency as well as others to kind of flesh out some of this, make sure that we are actually leveraging other statewide investments so that we are not duplicating, if you will, the services and the funding that already exists. As that, as we process it, we have nothing under bid for it right now. But we have a lot of great work in the middle of managing project, and I'll provide you an update for that. And we are in the final stages of our Impact 2020, which is our last year's program invested in mixed delivery childcare and specifically support for Family Friend and Neighbor, as well as family childcare homes and the Quality Counts California, and the KIT evaluation, which you will hear more about today. Next slide, please. I wanted to lift up a few things that we are extremely proud of, is that we were able to get our Impact Legacy Grant out in July.
I know, that is.
Which is amazing because we had a lot of discussion.
And home visiting.
And home visiting, which is our next one. Sorry, so now I'm just inviting, Janice is gonna be part of my presentation. So our impact, which stands for Improve Maximize Program for All Children Thrive. And so just really proud of the team for being able to score, create, and execute all of the funding in our new regional model that is rooted in collective impact. For the future of that program, all signed, sealed, and delivered. We turned around in a few days after signing and got that executed by August 1st as promised to the field. We also are still in the middle of working through our early literacy program, which is our staff have really fancy skills of naming this pearls. And so we are about to release that, we're in the final stages of that. And in part, it's been a long time because there was a large investment from the state with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, so which I have been appointed as chair for the nonprofit with the state library. So we're making sure that we're able to leverage again the 18 million versus the several million, the money that we have in this, so that we're coordinating again, not duplicating those efforts with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library expansion. And as our friend here, Janice mentioned, we also got our home visiting, our second and our last and final investment in home visiting coordination out. So that's approximately $9 million to again fund and develop cross-agency, cross-system understanding and collaboration of local home visiting programs. It's also hopefully tied to actually Janaea Ramirez and I sit on the Early Childhood Home Visiting Collaborative with the California Department of Education, the California Department of Public Health, as well as the California Department of Social Services, to make sure that the state is also, we're lifting up what's happening in the field and really working with the agencies as they report to the feds, their federal requirements on what, how it may be able to improve and meet the needs of children and families. We continue to meet with the First Five Association to make sure there's network alignment across policies. And so we've met a couple of times and really excited about that work to ensure that we are engaged and aligned throughout all our efforts. And not last but not least, we have our early childhood behavioral health investment, which is again, as a reminder, $10 million over 3 years. We have been in conversation with a Children Youth Behavioral Health Initiative about how to support that in terms of providing technical assistance for those who are actually I actually want to applaud several First Fives were awarded in round 2 of the grants, and really thinking through how to leverage and support what Melissa Stafford Jones is doing with CYBHI via the technical assistance front. And last but not least is that we have, and you'll hear more about this, is that we have been working very, very hard to execute the Stronger Start activation events all across the state, but I will not steal their thunder because there's a whole deck on it. Really a campaign that's aligned with First Five strategic plan, the North Star, and our audacious goal that we believe in a generation that all children will have the safe, stable, nurturing relationships that are necessary for healthy development. Next slide, please. This is just a general overview of our fiscal update. And so the close of fiscal year, our projected revenue in 2022-23 after closing books is $68,505,663.60.
Let's,
Very specific.
if you don't mind, let's wait until the slide changes.
Okay.
That's okay.
Just want to jump in. This is Jamie. We're having a little bit of connection issues for some of the laptops that are presenting. So
Okay. Keep
I
on
can-
going. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll connect with Simon.
I can't, I'm not, yeah, I'm not.
They can't make you a host.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, it'll.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there.
Say the number
Except-
again then.
So our projected revenue is $68,505,663.60. Our actual Prop 10 from July to May, so July 1st of 2022.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. And again, these are the summary tables that are the estimated projected revenues received for the state commission operation, excluding the county revenue as of May 2023. And staff will present year-end actuals at the October 2023 commission meeting. So, okay. And then we have a couple of personnel updates, and I don't know. The notes are showing, it's okay. We have none updates, but I don't know if Dr. Martha Dominguez Brinkley is on. I think her hand is raised and we wanted to introduce her. She is our Deputy Director over the Program Innovation and Evaluation Division, which I know that we've been waiting for her for a long time. The program side has been without a Deputy Director for, I'm told, more than 5 years. So we are so excited to have Martha with us with over 20, and I'll let her introduce herself. You're a little dark, okay, the lights now. So Dr. Dominguez Brinkley?
Yes, sorry, it was taking a little while to come to the light, but good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to just say hello and thank you, Jackie, for welcoming to the First Five California Familia. I'm super excited to join the team and rolling up my sleeves to provide the best services and support and take any quality improvement that we need. I was able to meet Chair Katie yesterday, and I'm excited to meet all of you today. And Elsa, I'm from Watsonville, so I'm super excited to learn more closely about what First Five is doing in Santa Cruz and in Monterey County. So thank you all, and we'll be in touch.
Well, thank you so much. We also recently hired Nani Gonzalez as our HR liaison for the Administrative Services Office. Jamie, I don't know if she's on or she wanted to just introduce herself quickly. Okay, if not.
Yes, she's on, yes, sorry, trying to find all the buttons. She's coming on right now.
Commissioner Rizzo, she is from Stockton. I will also lead with that. So
Okay, well, she's not accepting.
no worries.
We're okay.
So, I don't, Jamie, I don't know if you wanted to say a few things about Nani.
Yes, thank you. So Nani joins us from Department of Justice and has a lot of experience in HR and personnel issues and has been a wonderful addition to us and really was able to hit the ground running. So we're very happy to have her on board. Thank you.
We also had a promotion. Maria Rodriguez, who was formerly our OT at Office Technician, was selected to be the Staff Services Analyst, also / Personnel Analyst in ASO. So she's been with us for quite some time, and we're really excited about this promotion for Maria.
Right.
Yeah, and we announced Lisa's promotion last time.
Correct, yes.
Okay, with that said, there were, as we welcome new things in, people have transitioned out. So Paul Waters, who was the ITM manager, transferred to the Department of Energy, Infrastructure and Safety. His last day was August 1st, and so he'll be opening up the new office there. And most closely to you all is James Lindsay, who was our chief counsel, transferred to the Fair Political Practice Commission to take a promotional opportunity to be the chief enforcement officer. So all of your Form 700, all of that, and his last day was August 9th, 2023. So, so he is the one looking at all that, and he's an enforcement officer overseeing a team of about the size of First Five California to enforce fair political practices. So those are our announcements. Next slide, I think that might be our last slide, right? And that's my update, I believe.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And congratulations and welcome to Dr. Dominguez Brinkley and Nani Gonzalez. And congratulations to Maria Rodriguez on your wonderful promotion. We are grateful to you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Director Wong? Okay, thanks so much. We'll looking forward to the October meeting to think about the fiscal presentation as well. I am going to ask our first 5 representative, Courtney Armstrong, to join us. Thanks so much for being here and looking forward to your report.
Great. Thank you for having me. Courtney Armstrong. I'm the Director of Government Affairs with the First 5 Association of California. Although sends his regrets, he's in transit right now, so couldn't attend today, but has sent me some remarks to give on our behalf. We wanted to start by congratulating Chair Albright on your appointment as the new chair of the First 5 Commission. We're really excited to work with you in this new role and to continue the First 5 network work that was mentioned earlier, and strengthening our collaboration and how we work together to accomplish our shared goals. So welcome, and also wanted to thank the previous chair, Ms. Perez, for her leadership. We really enjoyed working with her and wish her all the best on her new next endeavors. The second item we wanted to share an update on is our work around the Mental Health Services Act modernization proposal that is moving its way through the legislature. We have currently, it's in SB 326, the Eggman bill, and we are currently in a oppose unless amended position. We've joined with other children's health advocates to call on the administration and legislature to include a set aside for children 0 through 25 for the prevention and early intervention funding. And of that, we're asking for a specific set aside for children, the youngest children 0 to 5. We were very pleased to see the amendments that were released late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning, and that the 0 to 25 language was included. So we feel like that's a great step forward. And we are continuing to push for the inclusion of the 0 to 5 language. So we were at the hearing yesterday. There was a Senate health informational hearing yesterday. We were able to provide public comment, and the Assembly is hearing the item on Tuesday, the 22nd. So we'll be planning to present at that hearing as well, and continuing to fight for the inclusion of a set aside for 0 to 5. And there were some good comments I wanted to highlight from Senator Eggman, who asked specifically about where First 5s were in the conversation of Secretary Galley. So it was nice to hear that First 5s are being recognized in that format. And he indicated that they are considering the request along with other requests as they look forward to future amendments. So we'll continue fighting for that inclusion, and look forward to updating you next time as that moves forward. And then finally, just wanted to provide a brief update about a future update. As you know, we're continuing to focus on the declining revenue that First 5s are facing due to decrease in tobacco tax revenue, and specifically the flavored tobacco ban that passed last November, or 2 Novembers ago, last November. And so we recently did a member survey of all of our members just to get a sense of how they're dealing with declining revenue and what programmatic changes they're making. And so we had a really great response to that survey. And we are in the process of analyzing the data, and we'll be looking forward to sharing both the analyzed data with you, as well as some anecdotes from our members, so that we can all kind of be on the same page as we look forward to planning for the next phase of First 5. So that's all I have today, unless there's any questions. And then I think I'll join again in a minute on the refugee services.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, any questions? I have one. Commissioner Paz, I didn't know if you were raising your hand.
No, I don't have a.
Okay, I had one question, which is about the survey. Obviously, you're still in the process of analyzing the information, but big picture, what were some of the questions? Is it around need and impact? I mean,
Yeah, we were trying to get a sense from our members about what kind of revenue decline they're seeing at the county level, what the impact is both on the first 5 staffing levels, things like that, but also on the community and the other agencies that they support, because we know First 5 really is a network, and we're trying to look at questions that can help us get at broader impacts of revenue decline rather than just focusing on the First 5 story, but really telling the story on the impact of, to children and families and also the agencies that serve them. So it was a detailed survey, and our members had to spend quite a bit of time going through numbers and getting us some specific data, but we were pleased by how many people did spend that time. I think it's just a testament to how seriously revenue decline is impacting our counties and how anxious they are to find some solutions or alternate paths forward.
Thank you so much. And as it is, if it is appropriate, it would be very interesting hearing those findings of this commission. I understand it. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Our next item in this category is around commissioners' comments and any comments about the advisory committee. Let me first open it up to any commissioner comments, and then we'll turn it over to Commissioner Rizzo to talk about the Public Policy Advisory Committee just for updates. But any general comments from the commissioners? Okay, Commissioner Rizzo, you are on. Thank you so much for providing us a brief report.
Good afternoon, everyone. We met earlier today, and a few things that we went over. We reviewed how we categorize our position on bills, any forthcoming bills. We also went over policy priorities and discussed the 4 pillars that will be guiding our work and how they align. We reviewed the 4 coalitions that First 5 are members with, that we collaborate with. And a great suggestion was made by Commissioner Jimenez, is that this information is available when we're looking at upcoming and forthcoming bills in the future. And it was brief, and that was it.
Thank you so much. I was listening in the background. It was super interesting. Thank you very much for that meeting. And Chair of the Public Education and Outreach Advisory Committee, Majors, asked me to share these updates from our August 17th meeting that I attended. The advisory committee met, not on August 17th, but on July 18th to review the media campaign. We're going to learn more about that and discuss the development of the Whole Child Public Relations campaign. We were able to provide input about that, and the First 5 team provided an overview of the Stronger Starts goals and how First 5 California achieved transition from the previously and very successfully known campaign as Talk, Read, and Sing. And really, this is about a shift of creating awareness of the effects of adverse childhood experiences and toxic stress, and the required significant research to inform the development of messaging and audience targeting strategies. It's a complex campaign, and so we're working through that. The rescue agency will be providing details in the conversation we have around our current media assets. We also discussed that there's a 3-year media contract that will end on June 8th, or did end on June 8th of 2023. My notes might be wrong on that. 24. Apologies about that. And it's going to require the advisory committee and staff to begin developing a new RFP, request for proposal, to obtain the next contractor by the next summer, to really continue to amplify our message, increase public awareness, and focus on our recognition around our media strategy and brand. We were able to, as commissioners, to provide significant feedback and input particularly on the development of the whole child public relations effort, which is intended to focus on the important role of early learning and care settings, which, as Director Wong talked about, provides safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments for families with young children. We're going to be meeting again in September to continue these efforts. And we'll learn more about it later on in the meeting. Yeah. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments for Commissioner Rizzo or myself? Okay, thanks so much. We're going to open it now to public comment. Members of the public may speak for up to 3 minutes on a non-agendized item or items not related to pending judicial, administrative litigation, or personnel matters. No action by the State Commission may be taken on this public comment. If you wish to comment, use the raise hand function or in the room, raise your hand. The non-virtual raise hand function. Jamie's going to call on members of the public in order in which they've signed up in the virtual queue. And Jamie, please know that we have one member of the public that's here. And so we look forward to hearing public comment. I do think we have some.
I do not see any hands raised quite yet in the virtual queue. Do you have any, Janice, are you making general public comment?
No, I'll just make it during the refugee grant.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, yeah, then I don't see any for item 2 then. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. As our commissioners know, items on the consent calendar to be considered routine and will be enacted by one motion followed by a vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the commission, audience, or staff requests a specific item to be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion or action. Any agenda item removed will be voted upon following a motion to approve the consent calendar. Does any commissioner wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Seeing no. Any staff wish to remove any items? Okay. And are there any members of the public that are raising their hands to remove an item? No. Okay. So if I could call for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
This is Commissioner Jimenez. I move we approve the consent calendar.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Rizzo will second.
Thank you so much. Any opposed? Thank you so much. Any abstain? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Oh, no, I guess we have to
Roll
wait.
call vote.
Sorry, I tried to move this forward. Jamie, can you please do a roll call vote? I
Sure,
tried.
no problem. Katie Albright,
Aye.
Elsa Jimenez,
Aye.
Vivian Velasco Paz,
Aye.
Lori Rizzo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. Appreciate it. We're now going to turn to the regular item, so we just approved the minutes and the agreement for ratification. We're going to move to our information on our regular agenda item, and we're going to pull up item 7. So the protocol here. Well, I think we just turned to item 7. Okay, so if we could look at the Refugee Family Support Extension. I'd like to welcome Lashmi Giordata for the First 5 California Education Programs Consultant to present the Refugee Family Support Extension item. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Lakshmi. You're on mute. I don't know if you want to unmute.
Yes, I'm just trying to bring my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, let me bring this to
And thank you for being here. Lakshmi's a little bit under the weather, but she cares so much about this that she is here today and probably will take a nap afterwards. So,
Okay. Yes, I'm happy about this. Is this good?
Lakshmi, you're sharing your notes, so I don't know if you want to pick the other screen.
Okay, okay. How about now?
Perfect. Yep. We know.
Okay. Just bear with me for a second as I'm bringing up and okay. Yes. Hello. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Lakshmi Gorajada. I am the education programs consultant at First Five California. I oversee the Refugee Family Supports project. Prior to this, I oversaw the First Five California's DLL pilot implementation. And I also would like to acknowledge today my colleague, Dr. Amanda Lawrence, a research scientist too, who is providing the evaluation support for the RFS program. I would like to present the Refugee Family Support, the RFS no cost extension request item today. As we know, in recent years, there is an influx of incoming refugees to the United States from several countries, including from Afghanistan, Ukraine, etc. And many of them arrive in California. The California Department of Social Services oversees the administration of several public benefits, including CalWorks, CalFresh, and refugee specialized programs provided by the Federal Office of Refugee Resettlement, which flows through county welfare departments and their contracted service providers. The federal assistance for these populations goes only so far, but families of young children who arrive the new country experience a lot of trauma from generations of war and oppression, in addition to losing their country and loved ones in the crisis they left behind. This affects their behavior, sleep, health, and well-being. To support such families with children prenatal to 5 years of age, in October 2021, the First Five Commission was presented with an ask to support the refugee families with children prenatal to 5 years of age. The request was for $10 million over 3 years. The Commission approved $3 million over 1 year for the refugee family support funding to help support these families with children birth through age 5, like I said, resettling in counties across the state. Covered under these grants are the those who enter into the United States on or after August 1, 2021 with refugee status or special immigrant visa or humanitarian parolee status. The RFA was released in July of 2022, and 6 county First Fives were awarded with the grants. These include Fresno, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Diego, Santa Clara, and Placer. The focus of RFS included providing systems navigation, emergency child care, and emergency housing, and additional services included providing with basic needs to the refugee families. These services are to assist these families with accessing linguistically and culturally responsive health and social services, and enroll their children in quality early learning and care programs. Implementation of the RFS grants began on September 1, 2022. Okay, I'm sorry, yes. So the no-cost extension request, and why are we requesting? Through the implementation, grantees learned building relationship with refugee serving entities, reaching out to the families takes longer than the 1 year this grant originally was approved for. Reaching to the refugee families requires culturally sensitive and linguistically appropriate practices, caseworkers, and trust. This is the essential part of building systems which grantees spend time in building. For many, the work began later in 2022 or early 2023. Grantees are committed to serve and continue to serve the refugee families through this grant and requested an additional time, which is a no-cost extension to complete the activities they planned for. Through this extension, grantees will continue relationship building to provide culturally and linguistically appropriate services, establish systems of support to sustain the services during and beyond the grant period, continue their partnerships with the entities, reach out to additional families to provide the much needed services this grant offers, and continue data collection efforts to inform efficacy of the investment and to provide more robust data to First by California's evaluation. As part of the program deliverables, grantees submitted data for the first 6 months of implementation, which is from September 1, 2022 to the end of March 2023. They made significant progress in serving families since this period, but I'm presenting the highlights of the supplemental evaluation report from the first 6 months. Grantees served nearly 400 families, which include nearly 2,000 individuals, and of those 619 are children ages 0 to 5 and 40 expected mothers, as this grant focuses on serving children prenatal to age 5. I will provide more details of the data in the next few slides. This diagram includes refugee families served across grantee counties by their countries of origin. Refugees served included from 9 countries, including Afghanistan, Ukraine, El Salvador, Venezuela, Guatemala, Mexico, Peru, Colombia, and Syria. 90% of those who served are from Afghanistan, and remaining are from other countries. A significant number are also from Ukraine. Another data collection point was languages spoken by the families being served. One of the services part of systems navigation and other areas includes providing translation and interpretation services to the families. The spoken languages by these families include Arabic, Dari, Pashto, Farsi, Ukrainian, Russian, and Spanish, and majority speak Dari, followed by Pashto. And a little more about the data collection we did for the first 6 months. The 3 focus areas supported by the RFS grants are systems navigation, emergency housing, and emergency childcare. Under systems navigation, grantees and their partners provide services to assist with family socio-cultural adjustment. Navigation services are used to connect families accessing the services such as translation, legal, healthcare, mental health, basic needs, and transportation. Under the emergency childcare, vouchers can be issued for up to 6 months and can be extended for up to 12 months based on the need. A few families utilized this service. For the emergency housing, up to 25% from the grant allocation can be used to offer emergency housing. This is after the other options are exhausted and for up to 3 months per family. Additional services include grantees allocating for providing basic needs and language support, such as interpretation and the translation services. A little more about the partnerships, and part of the efforts from grantees and as required by the RFA, the 6 grantees established partnerships with over 50 local entities, which included local refugee serving organizations, local health and human services agencies, nonprofit organizations, and 9 neighboring counties. The need to support this no-cost extension request. The benefits of the funding include that grantees offer trauma-informed, equity-focused, and healing-centered services to the most vulnerable populations as they are figuring out making a living in the new land. The refugee families receive culturally and linguistically responsive services that enable them to resettle in new communities and to help them become more resilient and self-sufficient. Children birthed through age 5 have safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments, and they are better prepared to enter school. With that, the request for today's commission meeting is to approve a no-cost extension to the Refugee Family Support Funding for 1 year from September 1, 2023. Now I will pass on to Courtney Armstrong from First 5 Association to lead the grantee presentation. Thank you.
And I should share my screen now, right?
Yes.
Oh, I cannot.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop. Okay, I need to stop sharing.
And thank you, Lakshmi, so much for being here. I know you're not feeling well. It just shows your dedication to this program. So thank you. Courtney, you should be able to share your screen now. Perfect.
Yeah, and now I will. Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Hi again, Courtney from the First 5 Association of California. And I am here to just introduce this presentation. So on behalf of these counties, we're pleased to share how they are implementing the Refugee Family Support Program. And our goal with this presentation is to share with the Commission what the local experience with implementation has been, and also hear from the grantees on the local impact the program is having, and emphasize how the Commission's investment is broadening and deepening partnerships while changing local systems. So with that, I am just here to hand it off to Fabiola Gonzalez, who's the Executive Director of First 5 Fresno, and she will start with the next slide.
Thank you, Courtney, and I'll get us all started. And I also want to offer a thanks to Lakshmi, because that was a super, very great overview, and we'll just complement what you just heard. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm the executive director here in Fresno, and we in Fresno serve as the lead grantee for the RFS funding in the central region of California in partnership with 8 First 5 county commissions. We are grateful to you for investing and supporting our new neighbors all across the state. Through this funding, we in the central region established new partnerships with 4 refugee family serving organizations, and we increased support to families with young children carrying the very recent trauma of being forced to leave home. And 2 things that we've learned and reaffirmed with this funding are that resettlement is a highly complex process. And if we want to come alongside families, it absolutely requires partnerships with organizations that have earned their trust already. And at the same time, building trust and partnerships, like we all know, takes time. One of the early successes that we've seen through the RFS investment has been new and renewed connections between First 5 commissions and refugee family serving agencies, but also between individual organizations as they share knowledge and resources with one another. Everyday situations that all of us on this screen here have experienced, we've all faced at some point in our lives, are exacerbated by the traumatic experience of being forced to leave home and start a new life in a new country where a new language is spoken. I want to share with you some examples of what implementation has looked like with a whole child, whole family approach, like the intent of the grant was, for families resettling in Central Valley counties. So our partners have helped the family get connected to the resource and referral agency in their county in San Luis Obispo to secure steady childcare payment assistance for grandma watching a 3-year-old while both parents sought employment. One partner helped with driving lessons after securing a donated car and then proceeded to offer car seat safety and installment training to the family. Another partner is assisting with kindergarten enrollment, getting immunizations ready, not only for school, but also for their immigration cases so that they can adjust their status. They've done referrals for school counseling and for mental health services. They've enrolled families in gas and electricity low-income programs, as well as support them through the Section 8 housing application process. And we've also heard from one entity that helped the family address a flea infestation problem in their rented housing unit. And imagine that. So they helped with the cleaning and the removing of everything that they needed to do to make sure the cleaning was done, while also dealing with the landlord in a new language. A new language for the family. This is what can happen when first fives enter a space, and we're so grateful for the opportunity that you have offered all of us. By design, we will never be the experts in resettlement, but we have leveraged our role to bridge gaps in the service system so that more families receive the supports they deserve. I am now going to pass it to Alejandra Labrado from First Five Sacramento so she can share a bit more about the implementation in her region.
Thank you so much, Fabiola. And yes, we do all have common experiences in our counties. My name is Alejandra Labrado, and I am the program planner who oversees the Refugee Family Services Grant in Sacramento County. And here in Sacramento, through our 5 partners, we are providing navigation services, language support, basic needs, mental health assessments, and supports. And in the last 10 months, there have been very many valuable lessons learned. And first, that addressing the basic needs and survival is at the forefront of families' minds, and we must respond to those urgent needs first before the other needs can be met. Second is that this is very time-intensive work. The needs of these families are very complex and often can't be addressed in a single encounter. We need to be prepared to work with them over an extended period of time so that we can provide trauma-informed care and address the mental health and the social determinants of health. In order to best serve these families, we've also learned 3 key strategies and values. First, that it is important to trust and listen to the experts in the community. This includes creating strong partnerships with the local, culturally and linguistically responsive community-based organizations. These agencies often have staff that are former refugees themselves with lived experiences who can't connect with the families or understand them in a way that we are not able to. Secondly, these programs need to take the time to build the relationships with families and demonstrate that the support is both sincere and sustainable. These families are coming here with trauma and a distrust of government and organizations. So when that trust is built, it doesn't take much to dismantle it. With this in mind, working with culturally responsive and trusted navigators is an effective way to help refugee families engage in other services and supports. In Sacramento, we conducted a community survey of refugees and newcomers who reported that they are more likely to trust the agencies when they have staff that speak their language and understand their culture. Now, there are also 2 challenges that we did not anticipate. First, some of the resources that we had hoped to leverage, such as ASIP for the housing, were dwindling or were at capacity, creating more challenges for refugee families. Secondly, we didn't anticipate that there would be an influx of asylum seekers that are not eligible for services under this grant, and they're not eligible for the 90-day resettlement benefits provided to refugees. This creates a need and a challenge for the agencies involved who have to distinguish and turn vulnerable families away. So we believe that with the continued support of First Five California, we will be able to continue the cross-systems work that we've created with these new partners. Thank you, and I would now like to introduce you to one of Sacramento's community partners, Dr. Mohammed Sadiq with the Public Health Institute, and he's going to talk to you about the impact on the community that this initiative has made. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Well, thank you. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to the commission and also our first 5 colleagues at state and county level. It's really interesting that I share my perspective, my humble view from as an Afghan myself, and also as a community partner, and also someone who teaches, who studies this population. I would like to start by sharing the story of one of our clients who I personally talked to, Zaida. I have renamed her for her private for her privacy. She's a single mom, 5 minor children, and she was evacuated in 2021. She barely speaks English. She never drove in Afghanistan, and she learned driving here after a year. And she relies on DHA support, financial support, maybe roughly $2,000, but she gives around $1,700 to rent, and she's left with a couple of $100 for the rest of the month. And she juggles multiple things in her family, and so it is in this context that the work that we do and the first 5 does is becomes really indispensable, and the work that we do is really crucial out there in the community. And our colleagues are not only in the community, but they become part of their family, and the referral, the setting up the appointments, the workshops, the basic needs, and you name it. And the work is really crucial. I heard that there were references to resettlement support, and First 5 is not a traditional resettlement. I mean, we are not in the space as a First 5. But the thing is that even resettlement is that the first 90 days, that is not enough. For most part, some of these refugees are not even familiar where the Walmart neighborhood is. 90 days is really almost close to nothing. So the work we do is welcomed. It is needed, but it is not only addressing a gap, a problem, but also we know that it's a long-term investment. I agreed with that. There was a reference to social determinants of health, ACEs, and equity, and many other issues. The science is behind it, and we know that. But I know I want to be mindful of the time. But in summary, I can say that there is one thing, or maybe probably 2 things that we learned from this project. Is number one is that the RFS serves as a centerpiece and connects these families to multiple resources. And number 2 is that there is a long-term need. We need the project to be longer term. We see it as a no-cost extension or a pilot or transition. But the family sees us as part of their household. I cannot imagine if in a month or 2 we don't have the services. These clients call us, and our number will not be accessible. I don't know what will happen. So I want to be mindful of time, but just to end my notes that I appreciate the commission. Dedication, humanity, and efforts, and I hope this will be possible to go into extension and a long-term project for these families. Thank you so much.
So I think I'm up next. So I'm here. I'm just a tiny little head, but I'm here. And no, that's okay. You can hear me, right? Okay. So I'm going to kind of weave in items that have been kind of touched on, but expand, especially on the systems change, which is something that's really not captured in the data. Dr. Lawrence's report was extremely detailed, and it captured the who, the what, the where from, the what people are receiving, but it didn't really talk about the amazing systems work that has been done. Our colleagues have done a great job about talking about how the First 5 network was activated in bringing partners together. I don't think, and I sent a survey out to all of my colleagues to say, tell me about the systems work, and the response was incredible. And to a county, every county that responded had said this would not have happened without First Five, because of our ability to network quickly, to be a trusted partner that's not governmental per se, but has good relationships with nonprofits and other entities in the county. And that can set a table and bring together people who might not be your typical table dwellers, right? So for example, in Placer, we were able to forge relationships between our CalWorks, some nonprofits that we served that had only really known about CalWorks, but didn't really have a relationship with them. And then most importantly, our faith-based communities, which were really hard to crack because for them, the bond with their members is sacred. And but we've started to establish that kind of working relationship. And also, so Placer is the lead in a 3-county consortium with Yolo and Sutter and Placer. Sacramento's the home to the largest number of refugees, and they resettled to Placer, Yolo, and Sutter. And we, as 3 smaller counties, have experienced significant growing pains in our systems in accommodating the needs and understanding the needs and the diversity and the beauty of the cultures from which these newcomers come, right? And so our systems have been really stretched. Language we knew, right? That was not a surprise. We knew we would have to accommodate language, but the different kinds of cultural complexities and the resistance, now I don't want to say the resistance, the lack of capacity within systems to be more expansive in approaching different cultures is a major obstacle. And so we've been working to counteract that, to get people to talk, to make connections, not just within our counties, but across counties. And that's some of the most exciting work I think that's happening with this grant, is as well what we're learning in just the 4 counties in the Sacramento region. What are the agencies? We're even starting to look at cross-county referrals as people move beyond that 90 days that they get from the IRC to actually resettling in the communities where they exist. So the no cost extension, frankly, is going to be, it's not going to take us a year to expend this, right? These are dollars which we have to expend, that we're going to carry this on as long as we can, hopefully with continued bridge funding from the state to continue this and really explore and support the systems work. It was to our surprise that we weren't using the housing supports or the childcare. It was really the navigation, the cultural brokers, the system work, the setting of table, bringing together for tea, people together for tea, because you have to make relationships one-on-one with actual people, and finding those actual people and getting them to work together and trust has been a tremendous amount of work and very rewarding. And as I don't remember who it was, Alejandro, I think, had talked about how the focus of this was very narrow, right? The state commission restricted this to a very narrow population. And I remember Commissioner Hazen saying, but this is a population that has access to a lot of resources, right? These are not our asylees, for example. And what we found is that even in this more privileged, and I say that with sarcasm, right? Even this more privileged class of refugees, the struggles are so great. And what this is helping us to do is to get a glimpse into what the system of services and support could be for those who are even less privileged with respect to their immigrant status. So at any rate, so that's, oh, and one of the other things that this did in Placer, and I don't know that my colleagues can speak to this, is that now that we've got this network established and people have it in their ears, they're approaching us. For example, there was a grant available for the food bank to assist people who were coming from the southern border, regardless of immigration status or country of origin. And because they found out about us, they said, can we access your network to make sure that the immigrants have access to food, that those agencies have access to food. So, and we were able to get support for an early behavioral health intervention for a child from Afghanistan who was displaying very extreme behaviors that we realized were from trauma, right, from a war situation. So we were able to help intervene in that situation because we were able to activate the network. So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for your time and for your investment. And we really hope for continued investment in this project.
Hi,
Oh,
and I think it's me.
Sorry, back to you, Courtney. Sorry.
Sorry. So thank you to everyone who was able to share today. We had some other partners that had conflicts and couldn't be here, but I feel like we were well represented by the speakers you heard from. I think that what we've learned from this project really speaks to the strength of First Fives and that system building that you've heard again and again, bringing people together and really thinking outside the box and how to address really the, like I think Fabi said, the whole family, the whole child, that that services can't be offered in a vacuum, that everything is so connected. And that's something that we really see through this program and this example. So also wanted to thank Dr. Sadiq for sharing the very personal story of the work that he's doing and the families that he's interacting with and how impactful these dollars have been for them. And if they maybe even don't know about First Five, but they know about how they've been able to access food or, you know, diapers or car seat safety, how important that that intervention has been. And from Sacramento, just some of the key lessons learned around really addressing the basic needs first, right? Like that has to be where we start, especially for families who are in crisis, and thinking about how we can apply those learnings, not just to the refugee population, but to other populations that we serve and that we're trying to center in our efforts. And again, just highlighting how complex this is and how in some ways county specific it is, but also how it requires us to be flexible and think across counties, and that sometimes our county lines can be don't fit with the realities of what people's lives are. And so looking to Placer County and the work that they've done to create cross-county collaborations. And again, just for me, thinking from a policy and systems perspective, you know, it's great to know that these services are here for the refugees' families, but also thinking about how we can build upon these lessons and apply them to some of the other programs and services that we are looking to offer. So I think that's all I have to say, but thank you for the time today. And we wanted to open it up to the commission for questions that our county partners can answer if you have them.
Terrific. Thank you so much. I know I have some questions, but let me just ask Director Wong, is staff recommending this?
Yes.
A no cost extension? As written, my understanding it's a no cost extension to the refugee family support funding for 1 year from September 1, 2023 to August 31, 2024.
Correct.
That's the recommendation. Okay, thanks so much. Commissioners, any questions that you have?
Out of curiosity, why was it only authorized for 1 year?
So in discussion, at the time, there was a lot of discussion at the commission, and there was, the intention was that it was going to be emergency because we had the influx of Afghan families coming in at that time who were just flooding the system. The state of California agency had a response, and we had been working with the agency, the California Department of Social Services, as well as Assistant Secretary Marco Majek, on where's our role in this, because they are coming with families and babies. And so we had originally asked for 10, which was going to include a workforce pipeline and a number of other things. We scaled back because the discussion, as landed, where it landed, where that there was a belief that there were other supports out there for refugee families. And so since it was emergency, the compromise was, even though staff had asked for 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, okay, $10 million over the 3+ years, is that the compromise with the discussion with the commission was 1 year focused on the emergency services for so a third of that. So they split it up, and that's how we got to the map.
Thank you, Commissioner. Additional questions?
I just had one other question. Sorry if I missed it in the staff report. So a no cost extension, how much money was actually expended in the first year?
Lakshmi, I know that I can answer since your voice, that's okay. And it approximately, out of the 3 million, 2 million was expended, so we have approximately 1 million.
That we want to carry forward?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And if it ends early, then we may be able to kind of come before the commission sooner. So, but that depends on a number of things. For what, after analysis, we may come back on what we learned, and then we can go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. And any other questions? I have a couple I'd love to ask, and appreciate Commissioner Paz and Jimenez for asking a couple questions that I had. And one of our presenters was it I think Sadiq Hasrati. I so appreciate what you said, that for families, this is not a no cost extension. This funding is part of your household, and that's such a powerful component. I'm curious if you have served up till now for a 12-month period, 400 families, and you're continuing to create connections, and you've established the infrastructure going forward for this next year. Do you have an estimate of how many families you think that the system can serve? Is it about, and I don't want to hold you to it, about 400, or do you think that there maybe is more?
Well, I'm not with the $1 million, right? I mean,
Right.
I can't speak for all of my colleagues, but I will say that if we had more money, we could serve a lot more people. The refugee serving agencies are slammed. And I thought the childcare industry was complex. This is so complex as well because of the capacity between agencies, the audience that they serve, the language limitations, the religious, it's such a complex system.
Thank you. I also had a question. I think this would be for Director Labrado in Sacramento. You said that, and you said it as well, that the way that the legislation or the resolution or the funding was passed, it's so narrow that some families are not eligible for services. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, when
I don't know who needs to explain it, but that was interesting.
I mean, Jackie, I don't know if that's more appropriate for you or if you would like me to respond.
So we aligned our refugee definition with the federal definition, which, and again, asylees are not captured. And I think that's across all of refugee public policy, if you will, that asylees are often not captured in the services that flow through the federal code. Okay,
So that means that a community-based organization has to go through an eligibility criteria in order to pull down the funding?
They're not eligible for a lot of.
But there has to be some front-end kind of assessment done.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that's helpful.
So hence the partnerships with the county agencies who administer locally the refugee program. So often it's county human services that administer the Office of Refugee Resettlement dollars.
Any other questions? Is there any we'll call for public comment prior to a motion? Members of the public may speak for up to 3 minutes on a non-agendized item or items related to pending judicial, administrative litigation or personnel matters. No action by the state commission may be taken on this public well, in this case, it's agendized, so you'll be able to do that. If you wish to comment as a member of the public, and I know many people have already been in part of the report, use the raise hand function, and Jamie will call on the public in order of the virtual queue. Jamie, do we have any members of the public?
I do not see anybody with their hand raised.
Okay, thank you. Could I call for a motion to approve a 1-year no-cost extension for the Refugee Family Support local grants from September 1, 2023 to August 31, 2024.
I move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank
Commissioner Jimenez.
Thank you. Jamie, would you call the roll?
Sure. Katie Albright,
Aye.
Elsa Jimenez,
Aye.
Vivian Velasco Paz,
Aye.
Lori Riso.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. And to those that presented and the work that you're doing in the community, thank you so much. This is an incredible partnership and opportunity to provide family strengthening to those who are in our state and our country. So we're grateful to you for your work. Thank you. Moving on to our agenda. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. We're going to we're going to go back to the original order and go to item number 5. 5, 6, and 7 are similar. I'd like to invite and welcome Jamie Ann Collins Lopez, First 5 California Public Communications Advisor, to present an update on our current media campaign. So thank you so much for your presentation. I've heard a sneak peek of this. It's awesome. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead for this presentation and turn it over to our partners with Rescue Agency, Brandon Tate and Irma Vega, to share an update on our mid-campaign efforts with the Stronger Starts and an end of campaign on our Dragon Song bridge campaign that we did last year, and some more information on the research and what we're doing right now and coming. So Brandon and Irma, go ahead, take it over.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, and hello, commissioners. Thanks for welcoming us back here. For those that I haven't met, I'm Brandon Tate, a Senior Vice President, Group Management Director at Rescue Agency. And I know we've had some new folks since the last time we presented, so just a reminder, Rescue, we are your communications partner for all of your marketing and PR activities, some of which we're going to go over today. We're throughout the state, Sacramento, San Diego, and LA, and we work exclusively in behavior change marketing. So everything we do is to make healthier behaviors easier and more appealing. This today that we're going to go over is our mid-campaign report. So we began this contract at the end of 2021. And so over the last couple of years, we're coming up on the 2-year mark. A lot has been accomplished. When we started, we were looking at the commission had just produced a new North Star, a new audacious goal, and part of our task was to help transition the work and the communications work that we put out to parents across California to transition from what we had been working on with Talk, Read, Sing, knowing that was successful and we wanted to continue some of that messaging, but also then go into a new area of work where we started talking about ACEs and toxic stress specifically, and how parents could create safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments. So from that time, a lot has been accomplished. Jamie mentioned a couple different campaigns. We're going to show you some of that creative today, talk a little bit about the results, and I will acknowledge this is midway through. So we're still in the process of evaluation, and we will be able to come back to you next year with a more full campaign report. The last thing I'll say is, there's no way we could condense all of this into just everything we've done into 30 minutes or even 3 hours. So what you're going to see today is just a selection, but we have worked with Jamie and the team here to build an appendix that you'll receive, which has much more in terms of information about the campaign, as well as other examples of creative and other updates. So you'll receive that as well. So with that, I'm also joined today by my colleague, Irma Vega. I'll let her introduce herself and then she'll take it away from here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to everyone for our time today. My name is Irma Vega. I am the account director on First Five California. So very happy to have the privilege to work on this account and on the good things that First Five California brings to children and families in the state. So as Jamie mentioned, today we're going to be taking you through sort of a review of our Dragon campaign, which was our bridge campaign from Talk Read Sing into the work that Stronger Starts is. We'll also be reviewing with you some public relation updates and also show you some ongoing content, ongoing work that we do, and a little preview of what's next. So if we go to the next slide, I want to set it up. Oh, hold on. Yes. So this first campaign that we produce is called Dragon Song. This, as I mentioned, this was a bridge between the Talk Read Sing campaign and our Toxic Stress ACE campaign. But we were working with it simultaneously. But this campaign offers parents a fun way to teach their children how to manage and own their emotions. So we're gonna show you the video that we produced. Should be coming up.
I think it's time for our dragon song. When you're tired and you're grumpy and you wanna shout,
Pretend you're a dragon and let it out.
you feeling better? All right, it's our turn. When you're tired and you're grumpy and you wanna shout,
Pretend you're
Helping your kids manage their feelings now can help them as they grow. For more tips, go to first5california.com.
And with that video, we produced a number of assets that you can take a look at the appendix, but we wanted to show you one of those assets that is this coloring and activity book featuring Roar the Dragon. And Roar walks kids through breathing exercises and helps them learn to calm themselves down. And as you can see here, we were able to get the coloring books into different California communities with Roar the Dragon standees. But it was important for us, next slide, we can move to, but in order to assure that there were no unintended consequences with the Dragon Song message, we ran it through a red flag testing study with parents and caregivers of children 0 to 5. So respondents watched the video and provided their reaction, and we received their feedback. Overall, this ad was received very positively, and the respondents felt that it was very informational and educational. And next, we have to show you how the campaign performed as far as from when we planned it to what it actually delivered. So we launched this campaign on television and radio, out of home, audio and video streaming, digital and social, including influencer marketing for the first time for First Five California. And our media buy delivered over 90 million impressions, more than what we had planned. And some of the above impressions do come from added value. And I do want to point out that we did receive about 14.9 million in dollars in added value from broadcast TV and radio. I'm sorry, impressions. Next, this shows you a little bit of our TikTok campaigns. We're on all of our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the first time with this message. Here's a little preview of some of those influencer videos. So it was important for us to get First Five California on TikTok, as there is a growing community of parents there that are very like-minded and just are looking for tips to help them out with their parenting. And not only that, but we were also engaging with communities face to face through our partnerships. We partner with local zoos, as you can see here, Sacramento Zoo, Oakland, San Francisco, and LA. But not only that, we also went deeper into the communities with our AAPI supermarket outreach. As you can see, there's a picture there at the top. And we also participated with the Sacramento Kings. There was a big event for Slamson's birthday. That's their mascot. And we were also there to be with the Sacramento community. This camp, I'm happy to report that this video received 2 Muse Creative Awards. These are international advertising awards that celebrate excellence in innovation in creative advertising and digital media. So we were very happy to receive those 2. Now I'm going to pass it over to Brandon for Stronger Starts.
Great. Okay, I'm going to talk you through now our Stronger Starts campaign, which is the campaign that recently launched this spring. I want to back up and tell you a little bit about how we developed the campaign. And so what I'm going to do is show you 3 of the main spots that we developed. There are more, but we're going to focus on these 3. And all of these spots, we did at least 2 rounds of testing. So we first did focus groups where we brought a concept version in the form of a storyboard animatic into focus groups to hear directly from parents. We had about a dozen that we brought in, but these are 3 that we're going to show you that we ultimately produced. So we heard that before we produced it. And then we also did some red flag testing quantitatively after to make sure that there were no red flags and that the concepts were really working well. So I'm going to talk you through that as well as show you the ads. So we're going to start with a video called Signs of Growth. And what was great here, some of the key highlights that we heard in focus groups, this ad was very motivating to people. We also heard, these are all direct quotes from focus groups. So you'll have this when you receive it. I'm not going to read every one of them, but just call out a few of the points. In the hopeful messages category, you'll see that someone said, I really liked that this video made me think about toxic stress for kids, and it reminded everyone. And the fact that it says that we have a solution, there's something that we can do about it. And that's really resonating for us to let us know that this video and this campaign is moving us closer to helping people both understand the concept of toxic stress, as well as giving them hope that there's something they can do about it by going to our website and learning more and participating in the campaign. We also thought it was interesting that we did feature a father in this, and you'll see that. And that was really called out very positively across focus groups, that parents are often used to seeing a mother in these types of situations, and that is true. And we do have spots that show mothers, but very often we don't see fathers in these situations, and that's such a critical component. And so they really appreciated that we had a spot with a father. I will say we have other versions of this ad that have a mother, some 15 seconds and other videos. I'm going to show you one of those spots now, though. Okay.
We mark every inch they grow and watch them outgrow, well, everything. But there's something else that can grow that we don't see. It's what doctors call toxic stress. It's how a child's body responds to difficult experiences, from harsh language to a painful loss. But there are steps parents can take to help. Learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress at first5california.com.
Hopefully you like that as much as me. As a dad with a 1-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, that ad always resonates with me and touches me every time I see it. So after we produced the spot that I mentioned, we also did quantitative testing. This was done with about 650 Californian parents. And we use a factor called PE, perceived effectiveness. This is a validated scale that was first led by the CDC and has since been used as a communications tool to measure ad performance, to predict how successful, how likely that is to produce the kind of behavior change or results of your campaign that you want to look for. So I'm going to show you PE scores for all of these ads. And it's a 5-point scale, 0 to 5. On a Likert measure, looking at each of these factors from, is the ad informative? Did it grab my attention? Is it powerful? Is it meaningful to me? Is it worth remembering? Is it convincing? And does it show people like me? And there's other questions behind that, but that's just the key measures report. What we look for is that a 3.0 and above, and not just us, but the CDC would say that that's considered standard that you could say the ad is not producing unintended consequences and is likely to be effective at 3.0 and above. All of our ads were well above that threshold. In fact, they were above 4.0. This ad was at 4.2, which is a highly effective ad. So we're very happy with that score, and that gives us the confidence to go into market with that campaign. So with that, I will go to our second ad. This is one about a family. We call this Crecer Bien. This ad is produced in both Spanish and English, predominantly for our Hispanic Latino market in California, since we reached that audience through both English and Spanish. I'm going to show you the English version today, but we have the Spanish version available for you both in the presentation that we'll share, as well as on our website if you want to find that, and on YouTube. So some great things that we heard about this ad. People were really resonating with the family aspect of it. They loved that there were photos of memories of family, which triggered cultural resonance and context for the ad that made this resonate with them in a powerful way. We also saw that this is a challenging topic to talk about, but we made sure that we did this in a positive way, and that positive tone came through. You can see one parent said, because you don't always have to think about the negative, you have to see the future and thinking that it's going to get better or it's going to be better. And that positive tone is something we did intentional because we wanted to convey the importance of this topic, but also produce hope that something can be done about it. And then focus groups that told us that this was a promising spot that accomplished that. We also had another participant, and a theme that we heard from multiple participants say that they liked the fact that this was more about what you can do to help your child, and it was greatly geared towards the parent, helping the parent establish relationships with the child, which was a positive message that they saw could be helpful in the aspect of preventing toxic stress. So now I'll show you that ad called Crecer Bien.
You're dedicated to giving your family a better future. While you work hard to raise successful children, something you don't see could harm them. It's called toxic stress. It's how a child's body responds to difficult experiences, from harsh language to a painful loss. But there are steps parents can take to help. Learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress at first5california.com.
It always wants to play again. So I explained earlier the PE score, so I won't go into all that detail again, but basically just to know that we had high confidence with this ad as well, that our PE score here was above 4.15, in fact, for both our English and our Spanish audiences. And we saw high levels of agreement across all the factors that we look for to determine how successful the ad's going to be. Okay, moving on to our last spot here. Both of those spots that we just showed show families, resonate very well, and appeal to an emotional element of the campaign that helps add urgency to this issue for parents. But we also felt it was really important that we add a really key educational component from an authority figure that could help make this topic seem as important as it is and provide some concrete information. So we had a concept called Doctor, where you're going to a doctor's visit and the doctor is able to help explain to you, or a pediatrician in this case, why it's relevant. And so we saw when we tested this in focus groups, these are some of the quotes. People liked that it was a medical person that just made it more relevant. We also saw the visual depictions of both the doctor, and this one uses some animated graphics that help explain how toxic stress works in the body. You'll see that in the video. And we saw positive feedback related to that, saying that toxic stress is no longer just an idea, it makes you want to look for a solution. We also saw that there was a positive kind of embracing of the idea of getting help, that parenting doesn't have to be done in isolation, that if you need help, you can reach out. And people like your pediatrician, as well as organizations like First 5, can be there with information to help you. So now I'll play the ad called Doctor.
There's an issue affecting many children that I can't solve alone. It's called toxic stress. It's how a child's body responds to difficult experiences, from harsh language to a painful loss. It builds up inside, making it harder to fight off infections and illnesses, and increasing the risk for lasting health issues. But there are steps parents can take to help. Learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress at first5california.com.
And I'll say we have this ad in Spanish as well, with a different talent, a different Hispanic, Spanish-speaking doctor. And you can see that ad. Just for time's sake, we're not going to play all the videos.
There's an issue of
Okay. But I guess we will play some twice, sorry. Again, this video scored 4.29 on our perceived effectiveness scale, giving us the confidence that it was great to go. So the videos are really an important, but only one small component. Each of these campaigns have all sorts of other creative, radio, outdoor, influencers, as Irma mentioned, social media. A lot of that information is going to be available for you in the appendix. We wanted to highlight just a few kind of interesting examples so you can see us out in the community and how this creative is coming to life. These are some of the billboards and just outdoor creative. The one on the right are some interactive mall exhibits where we were able to take the concept of growing, which is in that first video that I mentioned where she's measuring herself, and turn that into kind of a spot where you're seeing it grow along the elevator, and some other ways that we were able to do that through digital billboards and things in malls and other communities that ultimately would drive people to the website to find out more information. And speaking of the website, we have built one of the most interactive and helpful components on the First Five's website. I encourage you to visit it. If you have parents that are raising kids 0 to 5, I encourage you to share the website. A lot of work went into this. We worked with some subject matter experts and some experienced partners to develop really great content that can help parents dive deeper. We make that promise in our video, and we deliver on that promise through our website. When they get here, they can explore an understanding of toxic stress, as well as some ways that they can adapt strategies into their parenting with their kids. We put them into categories like being calm, being steady, being there, and being nurturing. Those are just broader categories that give very specific tips, and it allows parents to navigate by the age, whether that's a younger 0 to 5 child or an older toddler, as well as how much time they have. Do you have just, a couple minutes right now, or do you have 10 minutes, and the different activities that they can do? This is something we can continue to work on and build on over time, and we're already finding out that it's a really helpful resource to so many parents. We also just wanted to show you some early results. The campaign is still live, and there will be a final report coming your way. But for now, we wanted to say that our video performance is very strong. One of the ways that we measure ourselves is as a benchmark. We look at our prior campaigns, so campaign over campaign, or in some cases, you might look at year over year. We're looking at from the last time we ran to this time, are we improving? Are we growing? And so what we used as our benchmark was the Dragon campaign, that first campaign that we showed you earlier, compared our Stronger Starts campaign to that. And in each of these measures, we were actually exceeding our VCR. VCR is video completion rate. So that has to do with the people that start the video, what % of them complete it, which is a really critical measure to tell us, is our ad compelling? Is it interesting? Is it something that they find useful, that they want to stay there? Because you can produce something, and if they don't complete it, they're not getting that full message, right? But we're actually achieving a 67% VCR, which is well above the established benchmarks, but even more importantly, above even what we produced with prior campaigns. So you can see, for instance, on Facebook with Dragon, we were at 29%. On with this campaign, we're at 55%. On connected to TV, things like Hulu, if you watch ads there, we had an 85% VCR, and now we're at 96%. So you can see how our VCRs have improved over time. The last one looks like it went on the wrong line, but streaming video went from 34% to 64%. So that would be YouTube or any other online video components where you're receiving this video. Okay. The other thing that we look at, in addition to clicks and views and kind of the hard metrics, we also look at what is the conversation? How are people talking about our content? What is the sentiment? What are the themes? And what we're seeing is very good and to be expected. So we analyze about 1,100 comments to date. There'll be many more by the final report, but we do receive a lot of comments to begin with, a lot of engagement. Any engagement is going to be a good thing. That means that your content is active, something people want to talk about. But among those comments, 60% were positive, 26% were neutral, and only 13% were negative. And even the negative comments, I'll say we learn from that. We learn from that helps us push our message, that helps us understand what people are believing or not believing. It may be that there are nuances that we can take and build into future campaigns. So this overall sentiment and conversation theme tells us that the number one thing mentioned is mention of the brand. So that could be things like, love First Five. This is great to see from First Five. This is very helpful. This is important to me as a parent. That's the main thing that we're seeing there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Irma to talk about a few more of our media channels.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before with Dragon, in September, we started the TikTok channel or platform for First Five California. And as you can see here, just with under a year, we have a strong amount of followers that we expect to grow, as well as likes and video views. And so I do want to highlight a few of the top 3 performing TikToks that you see right there. So the thing is that we need to be where the people are, where they want to receive the message, and by whom they want to receive the message. TikTok is very popular as well with influencers. So I just wanted to highlight that. And, we're very excited about how it's helping us disseminate the message of Stronger Starts. And then our next slide, we're going to see that.
Moms, let's talk about toxic stress in kids.
Oh, sorry. And as you can see here, we plan to continue to be in the communities face to face. So we've grown our partnerships. We're working with the same zoos and sports partnerships like the LA Kings. But as you can see here, we've added another couple of zoos. Sequoia is added to that. We did some great integrations with Univision here in LA that we're working to see if we could get them statewide. We're also going to be in some events with at Dodger Stadium, so that there's a huge following for the Dodgers in LA, and even people that live outside of LA come and bring their families to the games. And we also partner with PBS. Outside of what we do with them on air, which is run our PSAs, we also were present at their first event in the 3 years that we've had with COVID. This was their first event coming back to the community. This was in La Habra, and it was their summer learning day. And there were throughout the day, there were about 3,000 people in attendance. We engaged with 700 families. And plus, I'm going to say 700 because we handed out 700 bags per family. But also after those bags ran out, we continued to give out books and other items that we had for the children that were still lining up. So that was great to see. And then, as you can see here, I know Brandon's going to talk a little bit more about our own ongoing projects, but what we did for Dragon and what we're doing also for Stronger Starts is that we produced and write specific articles to the campaign that we're doing, that provides different angles, that can provide support, that provides more information. So as you can see here, this is just a little bit of the articles that we've produced that are on our blog on the website that are talking about Stronger Starts. And also we had a really huge event on June 1st at the Sacramento Zoo. We had a press event that was highly attended. We had special guests that spoke to the public that day, or the people that were invited. So we had the first partner. We have Damanta Sabonis from the Sacramento Kings and Dr. Diana Ramos, our current Surgeon General for California. And they addressed the crowd, but that was followed by a panel of experts like Nadine Burke-Harris and Sarah Maricos from the ACE Resource Network. And the point of that panel was to dive deeper into the subject of toxic stress and ACEs. And it was just overall a very successful event. We had over 150 adults, and we also wanted people to bring their children. We had activities for children as well. And if you could see on the next slide, is that this is what that event, launch event of the Stronger Starts campaign triggered. This is the number of press coverage that we received, 39 placements, print, digital, local television, and including a podcast called Kids Considered produced by UC Davis. And the first episode is running on August 21st, and then followed by a second episode on September 4th. And so this right here, this 2.6 million impressions that we receive with that coverage does not include that or anything that's coming, because we also had some press this week. So the press and the outreach continues to happen for Stronger Starts, and we're really happy to see that. And then for our next, this is also very, very exciting and very dear to our hearts. We're working with the creators of Doggyland. Doggyland is a popular children's YouTube animated show with over 400,000 subscribers. And it's very popular in homes with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. They focus on being positive, and they have one of their episodes is a song about affirmations. So really, really great message. So what we're going to do with Doggyland is that they're going to create an episode centered around the importance of acknowledging feelings and reminding everyone to breathe when under stressful situations. So the episode will include a remix of the Dragon song that you heard at the beginning of our presentation. And that is something that is in the works, and we're looking forward to have it go on air. The other thing that I want to mention is that they are also going to incorporate Roar the Dragon, our character from the coloring book, into the episode. And another exciting partnership is with partnering with Domantas Sabonis, all-time NBA player from the Sacramento Kings. He was great. We're partnering with him. He loves the Stronger Starts message. He's learning a lot, and he wanted also to partner with us to help, make sure that that message gets to a wider audience. So we were able to record some videos with him, some long formats, and then some shorter formats for social. And these are going to be also going up on the website and YouTube channel. And we're very excited about that. We're probably going to be putting those up mid-September, and then continue to run the other videos that are shorter formats on socials. And then here, we just started Stronger Starts, by the way, in April, this April of 2023, and we've already gotten some awards for the campaign. So our one of our videos that the one that you see here called Signs of Growth won a Telly Award, and Telly Award is an award that honors excellence in video and television across all screens. It's very well known in the production and creative community. So we were very pleased to get two. One was a gold, one was a silver, as well as a Hermes award. So we plan to continue to receive those as the campaign moves forward. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Brandon so he can take you through a public relations update.
Thanks, Irma. We're getting to the end here. Thanks for hanging with us. So what we walked you through thus far was our marketing campaigns that have paid media operations, but we do work with the First Five team to produce some other PR elements, sometimes related to policy or the ECE coalition, or just other aspects of the First Five campaign that we want to support. I'm not going to show every single thing we've done, but we're going to go over a couple of them. So we did do a campaign last year called Strong Family, Strong Leave. And this was in support of paid family leave. And that campaign, we did have a small media budget to support, as well as some additional PR efforts. And ultimately it was successful that we saw successful digital metrics, but ultimately we also saw that SB 951 was signed and saw a productive way that this campaign contributed to law that's going to support our families across California. And then our chair, Albright, mentioned this at the top, but in our last PO meeting, there was a discussion of an ongoing campaign that we're working to develop that's related to what we're calling the Whole Child campaign. So we're still developing this, so there's not a lot to report right now, but this is just more to help you understand the purpose of this. We acknowledge that there's a whole lot that parents need and might look for First Five to understand or receive resources on. What our media campaigns are doing is one aspect of that. We're able to provide right now education around toxic stress and ACEs, as well as through our social media and our website and blogs, a whole host of other things that parents can do directly in their home or with their kids. And that's a really important component of providing information and education and resources. But there's another side of it, which has to do with parents might find roadblocks along their way or things that they need, and that we can play a role in helping change the culture around that, or change public will for something, or maybe even ultimately impact policy change. And so communications can play a role in that work. And that's kind of the other side of what we're thinking about with Whole Child. Like, what are we not able to hit through our marketing campaigns that we can actually produce a positive outcome for families across California? So for instance, one of those things could be something like childcare, since that we know is a big component of what parents are facing right now. And through some data, we know that that's something they care a lot about. So it could be that we focus on helping change the conversation or change the aspects of an understanding of what early learning environments and mixed delivery systems look like for parents. So that's still in development, and we're working closely with the First Five team and then eventually with the PEO committee as well to develop that campaign. But we just wanted to provide an update that that is ongoing. So that's it in terms of the PR updates. There's others in the appendix, things like the DIA event that we did around book reading and some other initiatives coming up. The last piece that we wanted to acknowledge in terms of current work is just stuff that doesn't fall into any of the categories that we said earlier. We call this just ongoing or evergreen work. If you follow our social media pages or you follow our blog, you will see that there's a number of other topics that we work across. And so since First Five's inception, there have been a number of mandates and messaging areas that we found important to bring to parents. So anything from nutrition, positive parenting, tobacco cessation as well, our new parent kit, tips and tricks across a number of different topics. And so across all of that, we're still producing that content. That's not going away. What we showed you is just kind of our bigger campaigns that we're making a bigger dent in so that we can ultimately evaluate success around them. But on a weekly basis, we're producing content on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on our blogs across all of these other topics. And what's upcoming. So we are going to continue to expand our reach with our current work. As you saw earlier, this contract ends in June 8th, but between now and then, there's additional expansions that will continue. One of those things is what we're calling our experiential marketing. We're going to be, we're in the process of building this out right now. That little image is just kind of a teaser sample of what it might look like, but we're taking the message of toxic stress, turning it into a physical interaction that can happen on screens or iPads, so that parents and kids can learn together about toxic stress as well as how to prevent it in fun ways. And then we're going to be doing events. We're going to take that experience and bring it to events and in real life settings across the state. That'll be something that starts this fall and continues through the spring. And then we're also in the process of building out a direct parent educational component with CellEd. If you're familiar with CellEd, they've done work with CDSS and CDPH and some others across the state, bringing interactive lessons for parents that are very accessible. They can be accessed, through an app or through a digital platform, or even just through the phone, just through text messaging. And there's components that are modular based, that are self-paced, where parents can walk through lessons for themselves, both understanding toxic stress as well as understanding tips and tricks related to SSNREs and prevention. And then in addition to those self-paced lessons that are bite-sized, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, there's also coaching components. So parents will have access to coaches that can answer questions for them on an ongoing basis. So all that's still in development, and you'll hear about that in the coming months. And then the big thing that's going to talk to us about the effectiveness of all this work is our ongoing evaluation. We had a baseline that was done in early 2022 that told us that not a lot of people understand toxic stress as it currently stands. There's a lot of room to improve. And what we're going to be now doing is a follow-up data collection in October of this year. And what we're hoping to see is significant changes in knowledge, attitudes, and beliefs. So knowledge, things like understanding toxic stress as it compares to our baseline, attitudes towards toxic stress being relevant for them as a parent, something they need to do something about, and beliefs that they have the ability to change it. And ultimately, we'd like to see changes in behaviors as well, help-seeking, support-seeking behaviors. So that'll all be in the works in our next update. This is the mid-campaign, but you'll get a full campaign when it's all done. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Brandon and Irma. And if any commissioners have any questions, if there's any comments, happy to take those now. As we said, this is our mid-campaign update. We do hope we do plan in the spring to have a final campaign update on the success of the last several years with this contract and the new efforts in this area.
Thank you so much. This is so exciting. Opening it up to any comments and questions. We'll do it for about 5 minutes. We're going to take a break afterwards to be trauma informed and follow your own advice about taking a break and being silly. So, and then we'll come back for the rest of our items.
So does that mean we're singing the dragon song?
We can do that. We can sing the dragon song if we're on time for the next meeting. We can do that. But good idea, Director Wong. Any comments? I know this relates to the next item, which we can have more discussion on as well. But I know that your initial thoughts and feedback will really help the team here.
I'll just add also that there is an appendix attached to this deck that was presented today with a lot more detail about all the different things we've done. There's just been so much that we didn't want to drag out this presentation, but we will be providing that deck so you can look at it through with at your own leisure.
Thank you so much. We may have a member of the public who wants to comment, but commissioners, Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate the overview and I appreciate the emphasis on we need to be where people are and we need to make sure that the message and more importantly, the messengers are who people are going to be drawn to, or at least our audience. At this morning, actually, while I was getting ready for work, I actually saw or I heard the ad on the TV of the father with the child on the couch. So I was like, hey, yeah, that one's new. I hadn't seen that one. I would love to get a copy of the deck and the links to all the other ones. I'm curious to kind of see what the Spanish language ones are looking like. So I'd appreciate getting a copy of that after. But thank you. Great work. They're very nice.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we'll get those links and copies of the deck to everybody.
There are also links to some of the TikTok videos that Irma went over, which is why I accidentally played some sound if you saw, because you can click them in the deck. So if you're on TikTok, or even if you're not, you can click and watch some of those videos as well.
Thank you so much. We lost connection for a few seconds, but I think Commissioner Jimenez, we got the general component, and I know it will be, it's being recorded. So thank you so much. Commissioners, any other comments? Any member of the public? Looks like we have one member of the public who's raising their hand.
Yes, I'll promote you to panelist now, Cindy.
You are talking, you're on mute. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hi, sorry that took a little bit. My name is Cindy Hurado Hernandez with First Five Fresno County. Thank you so much for that presentation. I oversee our communication projects here at our commission, and I wanted to thank you so much for taking on this topic. Toxic stress is, something that we talk to our parents about. And I also was wondering if there had been any, I was trying to pay attention to all the demographics that were shared, but there's a huge digital divide that exists in our communities, especially in our BIPOC communities. And so I wonder, with that sort of cliffhanger ending that exists in some of those advertisements where you have to go to the website to find out what the 4 tips are, if we're missing an opportunity there to engage with abuelitas, tias, all of that generation that is maybe not as digitally savvy or broadband issues in their community. So I just wanted to bring that to light as this is your mid-year evaluation, and as you go forward, to just highlight that is a real issue, especially in our community when it comes to broadband. So thank you so much for this beautiful campaign. I am trying to get my kids to learn that dragon song all the time. I'm trying to learn it for my own self-regulation, but yeah, I wanted to bring that to light.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Yes, actually, we definitely are always looking for different ways to reach all audiences. So for sure, we are, coming up with different innovative ideas, depending on the audience that we're targeting, in the ways that we want to reach them. And I do very much appreciate that. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. It was a good, interesting presentation. Looking forward to the conversation. And item number 6, we'll take a 5-minute break and come back at 3:06. Go do your dragon song on your own.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Get a chance. Didn't get a chance to do your dragon, Brad, do your trauma-informed stretch. We'll try to do this at every meeting. It's so important that we model our own self-care for those in our community. The next item on the agenda, and I want to make sure the team is ready, so I'm speaking slowly, but the next item on the agenda is number 6, discussion and future requests for proposal regarding the campaign investments. We're going to take a needed time on this, and then we have one more item, number 7. I am committed, commissioners, to ending all of our meetings on time. That is something that you will come to know about me, and so I look forward to our next 50 minutes together. So I'll turn it over to the team.
Yes, and I will turn it over to Jamie Lopez, who will talk about kind of really, we're seeking your input and guidance as we think about and develop, and we'll come back for requests to fund the next iteration of this campaign.
Perfect. So thanks, Jamie Ann.
Thank you so much. Hello again. As you saw in the last item, our media campaign is a huge value add to getting out the message for First Five. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of a history and a plan for the future on our RFP efforts, which is our request for proposal for coming media contracts. So in June of 2024, the current public education and outreach media contract will expire. Staff is currently in the process of developing the new RFP, the scope of work for that, for a new contract to take effect next June. I'm going to briefly go over the goals of the media and outreach contract and the process for the RFP. We're happy to take at the end any recommendations that commissioners would like to share with us for consideration while we develop a scope of work. I apologize. I do have a slide to share. I completely forgot about this. Okay. And so that's what we just went over. So I'll give you a little bit of history. In January of 2000, First Five California initiated its very first public education and outreach campaign, which focused on early childhood development and the harmful effects of tobacco use on pregnant women and young children. Since then, the State Commission has maintained a consistent presence through its continual refined media campaigns. As many of you know, in 2014, we launched one of our biggest campaigns, Talk, Read, Sing, which focused on parenting, including the importance of active language engagement to young children to stimulate brain growth and vocabulary development. Additionally, we focused on childhood obesity prevention and the importance of a healthy diet and active lifestyle for young children to prevent future health-related illnesses. In early 2022, First Five Commission adopted major changes to the organization's focus, including a new North Star around healing-centered, trauma-informed systems, to promote safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments necessary for children's healthy development, as well as our audacious goal. This new direction transitions First Five California from focusing on early literacy and brain development into a new strategic area focused on tackling adverse childhood experiences caused by toxic stress with our parent and caregiver audiences. In working with our current media contractor, we have created new campaigns to begin the process of defining the terms toxic stress and ACEs to help parents and caregivers understand the effects of how to buffer against them. You have seen that to the item's extent that the work done in this area is really relevant. In the next contract, it will be the goal to expand on this current messaging. The campaign will be built around 4 key objectives: increasing parent and caregiver awareness and education on healthy and nurturing development of children ages 0 to 5, and then identifying strategies to effectively target and reach California's diverse population, as well as communities that traditionally have been hard to reach. Identify and implement a broad range of new and emerging media strategies and technologies as a means to reach, educate Californians about healthy and nurturing development in children ages 0 to 5. And then finally, to brand First Five California as a recognized and reliable source of information on current research-based issues in the areas of health education and development regarding children ages 0 to 5. In order to accomplish this goal of securing a vendor for the next contract, we are beginning the development of a new scope of work now in hopes of releasing an RFP early in 2024. So now I'd like to open up the discussion around the contract goals and objectives, or any other questions that the commission may have at this point. We'll take all suggestions and feedback into consideration during the scope of work development stage. As we are working with within our team, but also with the PEO advisory committee to help guide this development. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to go over that. I'm happy to discuss timelines as well if you'd like. But we have begun the scope of work development, and we will be sharing it again in our September meeting with our advisory committee. So if there are any questions at this time, I'm happy to share that with you. Also, and I think I mentioned it, but I'm not sure, staff does intend to come back to the commission, the full commission, in October to make a request for funding. At that time, we will know what we are requesting, and we'll have more information about what the contract will be.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation and all the work that you're doing. I'll open up to commissioners. Questions, comments, thoughts. I know that this part of the agenda is super important for the team to really understand our perspective and experience.
Wondering, Jamie, is it possible to put back the slide where it shows the new areas of focus?
Yes, let me pull that
up. A thought that came to mind, what effort will there be to try to create materials that will resonate with our Indigenous speaking communities? In Monterey County, we have a lot of individuals who immigrate here to work in our agricultural fields who don't speak Spanish, much less English, and speak other Indigenous languages. And I'm sure there's some along the Central Valley, Southern California, other areas that, tend to draw in individuals to work in our agricultural sector.
Yeah, so for sure, we definitely want to focus in, especially in areas where there's, different languages spoken, and find the methods in which, they're consuming media, be that, in print or through, churches or through community groups, or if there's, radio stations, sometimes very small local radio stations. So we're always definitely looking at that. We don't always just focus on this English and Spanish, as those are our, majority populations. We do try to find areas where, there's pockets of populations that we can focus in on, and definitely happy to take that under advisement when we're writing the scope of work to make sure that those types of things are definitely included for any potential bidders.
Thank you for that. And then can you go, I think it was two slides for this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because it's like,
No, that's okay.
The screen sharing is like.
I'll just tell you what my other thought was, is, are we gonna try to bring about some messages that really focus on, the systems change aspect of our work, and not so much at the individual level, whether that be the parent, the caregiver, etc., but really messages on what we as representatives of systems need to be doing to better support our families of 0 to 5. That was, you don't have to try to bring it up, but that was just my other thought.
Yeah, so I think, some of that work is done through public relations efforts, and working with partners to help us, make changes and change behaviors and have those effects. But I am definitely happy to also take that under advisement as we're working, especially with the PEO committee, to review, those aspects of the RFP to make sure that all of those concerns are included.
Commissioner Harris, can you talk more about that? Just because historically we've so looked at the family level, even with talk reaching, can you talk more about, or anybody talk more about that? Because this is the opportunity for the commission to vision and help us scope it out, right? Because it would be helpful. And if you don't, no pressure though, if there's not.
I don't even have like a catchy key message, but really, we try to work across the spectrum, right? At the individual level, at the systems level, at the policy level. And I know that most of the time our campaigns have really been geared kind of at the individual level in terms of what, increasing their knowledge and awareness and actions that they can take. I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to also push it up one more level or even 2 levels in terms of messages that will resonate with, local policymakers or with service providers that really help to support the need to transform our systems to be better supports for our families that are seeking our services, either when we're delivering services or how we better engage the community to be able to draw them in and to the services and make sure that the services we're delivering really are what our community, our families 0 to 5 need. I don't know if I'm mumble jumble, but
no, it's super helpful. So right now, because our target audience have been families, the target request is to also consider part of the campaign to be at the county boards of supervisors, for example, is just one I'm thinking who are part of this. So more of those level and CBOs and others who are within the service providers, as well as the higher level.
Right, because it's almost like, there's other work that we do that take the responsibility away from just the individual or the end user and really looking at it from a socio-ecological model and really looking at, influence that the business sector has, that local policymakers have, that, childcare providers have, that schools have, et cetera. So I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to kind of, shift that messaging to those other individuals that are so critical in terms of whether or not we are supporting our families 0 to 5.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really good point, actually. And I think, in some areas where we have started to kind of tap into that, where we've talked, we've worked with the doctors' offices. We've talked about, do we work with incarcerated organizations that where moms are coming out of incarceration and they want to transition, getting that message into their hands as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, and I think that's a wonderful suggestion, and definitely something that we'll keep in mind with this development.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's such a terrific suggestion. What occurs to me when you say that is we really need a culture change, an entire narrative change at all levels. And what I love about the whole family approach is how strength-based it is and how we're thinking about strengthening families and really building up the protective factors. And it's not about sort of putting that onus on the caregiver and the parent in terms, Commissioner Jimenez, how you're talking about it. It's how do we think about the community shift and the system shift that needs to happen in order for us to support and strengthen families, and in this case, families with young children. So I think that reframing is so important, Commissioner Jimenez. So thank you for bringing that to the forefront. We all have a role to play, and how do we really think about a strength-based way to support our youngest residents in California? Commissioner Rizzo, Commissioner Paz, thoughts, feedback, comments?
I agree with Commissioner Jimenez. I 100% was kind of thinking the same thing, similar, but I also think that's going to be vital in how we move forward. So thank you for that, Commissioner Jimenez. Gold star for the day.
Spoken like an educator.
I think we need that little emoji, the gold star emoji. Thank you. Commissioner Paz, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you have thoughts and feedback, comments.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I'm seeing is definitely impactful and moving in the right direction. And of course, any effort to outreach to the Indigenous community, which is growing here in the Central Valley. And then the other thing I would just say is making sure we have outreach areas or outreach efforts in the more rural parts of our state. We often get overlooked, so it's, I think, important to strategize around that.
And Commissioner Paz, when you are saying that, are you talking about the outreach campaign, or and maybe both, or also that we outreach in terms of the RFP to make sure that we have responses that may come from communities that aren't historically outreached to?
I think with everything we do, we need to make sure we're being inclusive of the rural communities, and making sure our materials go out, but also that we're engaging and making sure that they have opportunities to participate.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, any other feedback? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to public comment. See if there's any feedback or. Okay, any member of the public want to provide feedback or comments?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. Well, terrific. I know this will come back to the advisory committee for more focus and work. Thank you so much. My kids are older than the young person in that dragon video, but I'm going to see if they can do the breathing exercise. At age 21, I still think you can do that breathing exercise with the dragon. That's cute. So thank you very much. The last item on the agenda is an update on our current kit for new parents program, future investment recommendations. And I would like to welcome Vernetta Syfax, First 5 California Information Officer, to present an update on the current kit for new parents and a discussion of future investment recommendations. Thank you so much for your work and for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here and appreciate seeing all of you. Today, we're going to provide you with an update on the Kit for New Parents program. And I will see if I can share my screen here. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Oh, okay. Today, we're going to provide you with an update on the Kit for New Parents program. We're going to take a look at how the kit reaches parents of young children through our partnerships with agencies, organizations, and First 5 county commissions. We're also going to present information to you about the current KIT study and its latest findings. We're going to talk about future funding recommendations and hear some insights about the KIT from First 5 San Diego. And then we'll open it up to comments and questions. So let's start with the background on the KIT. First 5 California launched the Kit for New Parents over 2 decades ago as a free resource designed to provide comprehensive, evidence-based, easy-to-read information to parents in California about the care, health, and education of their young children. The kit's culturally sensitive content is designed to close the health equity gap for families facing challenges accessing resources about parenting and child health. First 5 California helps to address this gap by offering the kit free of charge in multiple languages to any parent in California who requests one. Past studies on the kit have shown that parents and caregivers who've received it use the information provided and make positive changes because of it. And the kit has been recognized as a top promising practice in the field of maternal and child health. To date, First 5 California has distributed over 5 million kits. Additionally, we receive federal dollars for kits distributed to Medi-Cal recipients through an interagency agreement with the California Department of Healthcare Services. Now I'd like to talk about how we're expanding the kit's reach to parents, especially those with low incomes. First 5 California's partnerships with state and local agencies, healthcare providers, and First 5 county commissions help to get kits into the hands of the parents who lack access to resources. I'd like to highlight a recent partnership we made with the California Department of Public Health's Office of Oral Health. First 5 California collaborated with their Smile California program to produce the kit's new oral health brochure, which complements the kit's infant gum massager toothbrush. The brochure reminds parents of the importance of teaching their young children good oral health habits from the start and gives them information about accessing the state's Medi-Cal dental program for children. And Smile California is helping First 5 California spread the word about the kit's availability to the parents that they serve. Also playing a critical role in the success of the KIT program are First 5 county commissions. They've been with us from the start with the KIT. Many commissions have partnerships with organizations in their communities to distribute kits to families in need. We provide First 5 county commissions, if they would like, the opportunity to customize kits with information about their local resources available to parents. First Five California provides customization free of charge to all counties that want it, along with kit fulfillment services. And we are striving continuously to improve customer service to these important partners. As part of that effort, First Five California has launched a new kit study. This study also fulfills a request from the Commission in 2020 to provide data about the kit's effectiveness. In July 2022, First Five California contracted with the American Institutes for Research, AIR, to conduct the kit study. The study is examining how the kit is being distributed to families across the state and how it is helping parents and caregivers support their children's healthy development. This three-part study aims to improve the kit, its reach, and its impact on families. The study will produce interim findings and research briefs, with the final brief to be delivered in June 2024. The interim findings from the kit distribution study, which is our first study, show that kits are distributed in most California counties, but some counties have more of a challenge than others getting kits into the hands of parents. Local agencies, especially health services providers, receive and distribute most kits. These agencies report a high level of success in getting kits to under-resourced and non-English speaking parents. Agencies distributing the kit generally do so in one-on-one settings with families, with most agencies reporting always or sometimes reviewing the kit contents with families receiving them. This is important because studies have shown that when parents receive kits and are informed about the content, they are more likely to refer back to the information. Findings also emphasize that training is needed by staff distributing kits to families to maximize the content's impact. And this brings us to our future recommendations for funding. To grow the kit's success and reach, we recommend that investments be made to expand the marketing of the kit, to increase awareness among families and agencies, and to provide enhanced customer services. This would include targeted outreach about the kit to families in need and hard to reach communities, such as rural communities, providing more technical support to providers through training on kit materials, and upgrading the ordering system to be more user-friendly. It also involves redesigning the kit packaging to be more inviting, creating videos to supplement the printed materials for parents with low literacy, providing the kit in additional languages, and adding more interactive learning materials and books to the kit. And now I would like to introduce one of our county partners. First Five San Diego has been an active partner in the KIT program since its beginning. First Five San Diego spearheaded a study years ago about the kit's effectiveness. I would like to introduce Executive Director Alethea Argüelles to share her thoughts about the KIT. Hello, Alethea, and I would like to thank you for being here today, and I'll hand it off to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, First Five California commissioners and staff, and of course, colleagues that are listening in. Happy to join you today. And you know, I was having this reflection about what the KIT means to our community, and I have to share with you all. In 2001, I was actually working in an early Head Start setting. I was a home visitor, perinatal home visitor, and we were going to the very first meetings with UCSD down here to learn about the KIT and to figure out how we were going to help get the message out. And so we literally had like half of a warehouse filled with the kits from back in the day, which were the boxes. And so I want to say that I've witnessed this foundation, right, that First Five statewide network has really brought forward to our local communities. And so to fast forward to this day here in San Diego, we have been fortunate enough to distribute over 38,000 kits to our new families. And we work with all of our birthing hospitals, as well as all of our partners that are contracted with First Life San Diego, to get the word out about what it is that we do as a network and what supports that First Five San Diego brings forward or makes available to our families. And so I never assumed that all know about us. And so this is a really great way to leverage the First Five California investment that we then marry off or leverage along with our own local dollars that we allocate towards community engagement, public and parent education and outreach. And so really wanted to share that it continues to be a beneficial resource when we think about how we target more families. And I appreciate the conversation around our rural or potentially our families that maybe are more isolated and may not have access. But certainly when our families are having their babies here in San Diego County, the partnership with the birthing hospitals has really proven to be fruitful. And so we really have are really grateful and continue to be grateful to the Commission's investment and look forward to the continuation of the improvement, expansion of this kit. And I have to share that the opportunity to not be charged to have a customized kit, I think is also really amazing. So thank you for that investment and really looking forward to partnering and seeing what the future holds for us.
Thank you, Alethea. Really appreciate it. And now I will open it up for questions and comments, if anyone has any. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful historical overview and great work. And thank you so much for your work. Commissioners, other questions that you may have, comments, feedbacks, Commissioner Rissa?
I do. My question is on the slide that had the percentage by county of distribution. What are the counties with high distribution rates? What are they doing differently? Or what's causing such a vast difference in distribution between county? I mean, I know rural, or I get some of it, but I mean, I'm looking where, you know, of course, I'm looking for San Joaquin, where I'm from, and I want to be higher because I'm competitive and we have a high need. So how can we help? So what are some of those counties that are rocking it? What are they doing?
I will say on the study side, we actually have representatives from AIR here to answer questions like that. Just from my years of working with the kit, it's usually counties, some counties have struggles because of staffing. You know, the smaller counties do struggle, and it's simply because of staffing. Other counties, it depends, you know, we don't have like over the years, because this has been around so long, counties have developed their own ways of getting kits to people or their level of participation in the kit program. But what I'd like to do is turn it over to Heather Quick, and she can give you some more data-based answers to your questions. Heather Quick from AIR, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It's a great question. And unfortunately, I don't have a great answer quite yet. We're in the middle of analyzing the data. We've surveyed and interviewed representatives from a subset of the counties that are participating in the kit distribution and gathering information about their experience, both their the extent to which they prioritize this and see that the kit aligns with their commission goals, and also the extent to which it's connected with their other activities. So we're hearing lots about the kinds of things that they're doing. Partnerships, developing partnerships with community agencies is one thing. So the kits are distributed both directly to individual families who order them through the First Five California website, and also through county commissions and through partner agencies that order kits from First Five. They receive a stack of kits and they hand them out to their families. So I think the counties that are distributing more kits tend to have more of those partners engaged in the work. So there's more of a distributed effort. But we're also seeing some success with kind of having a centralized, really focused effort at the county level to get the message out there, to develop those partnerships. In some counties, the effort is more, who's heard about it? Agencies reach out independently to First Five to order kits. In other counties, there's more of a centralized effort to get the partner agencies on board and to make sure that they get those kits ordered. So, but as I mentioned, this is something we're still exploring and look forward to sharing more concrete details down the line.
Thank you, Heather. Did that
Yes, I think a more collaborative approach with some of the successful counties will help some of the struggling counties and generate some ideas, and I think the numbers would go up. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner Rizzo. Commissioner Jimenez, Commissioner Paz, feedback, comments, thoughts? Thank you so much. Some of the exciting opportunities that we have ahead of us, I think could be really informed by engaging parents and caregivers as you roll out, in addition to what Commissioner Risso said, which is engaging partnerships between counties, as well as engaging providers. And the images of having unused kits in some counties is concerning versus kits that maybe are scarce in other counties. How can we really think about using that, as well as think about leveraging technology? Parents and caregivers are engaging in communication in different ways, and certainly commenting to what Commissioner Jimenez said earlier around the digital divide. How do we think about the literacy divide and all aspects to make it as an inclusive opportunity for everybody? Will be something to think about as you go forward. Any members of the public that want to speak on this matter?
I do not have any hands raised.
No hands raised.
No hands raised.
Thank you so much, and appreciate it to the entire team for your work on the kit. It's terrific.
Thank you.
And we'll learn more in October. So thank you very much.
Well, for clarity, we're
Okay.
coming back for an ask for renewal. So what I just want to reflect back, what I'm hearing is that this kit is wonderful. We need to go forth with a couple of updates and considerations.
Is that what you're, I think it's important. We're not, this is not on the agenda, which is the only reason for sort of, I think that the agenda is
that pretty much captures it. That captures it. Yes.
Yeah, I thought your recommendations were right on after reading the report. I mean, I think that those are good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're staying to our agenda.
Yes.
In terms of what was agendized. So yes, thank you so much. And we do look forward to having it come before the commission in October for their action. And there was no public comment on that. That brings us to our last agenda item, which is adjournment. Our next meeting is currently scheduled for October 19th, 2023. I'll just ask Director Wong if there's any other announcements or thoughts.
Please note that it will be in Fresno, October 19th, and we're hoping in person. And so we have kind of an agenda tour of the community set up. I know Commissioner Paz has been working with Executive Director Fabiola I want to say Gonzalez, but Fabio, you've been working with Fabi on some things, but I don't know if you wanted to, and has set up a nice dinner the night before. I don't know if you wanted to kind of share anything kind of in that.
Sure, I'm happy to share just some, we're brainstorming, so nothing is set in stone yet, but they have First Five Fresno County has an amazing facility here. So I think the thought is we'd have the meeting here, and then it should be much cooler than it is today. It's 106 degrees in October. So it's also a very festive time here in the Central Valley with a lot of Dia de Muertos activities kind of kicking off around the same time. So we may go down to Arte America's, a Latino Cultural Arts Center, to see the exhibit and the altars that will be made by the community. And then have a nice dinner either in the Tower District downtown, or maybe even possibly my home. So I could talk to you, Jackie, to see what might be possible. But yeah, we're gonna host a good little event here.
No, we're excited to actually go on this, go to Fresno and experience the Dia de los Muertos. When Commissioner Pasa said, you need to come down, and the best time to go is October, just really staff. And I know commissioners have been really interested in being together, breaking bread, seeing some art, and just being with community.
How wonderful. Thank you so much for planning it all. And it sounds very exciting and meaningful.
Yeah, and we're hoping, again, that's the evening of that 18th is dinner and whatnot, and then the meeting will be on the 19th. So we will make sure that those calendar holds are on your on everyone's calendar.
Terrific. Any other comments from the commission? Okay, thank you so much. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't believe I do have to call for a vote. No roll call vote. No, I don't have to call for a vote. Any opposed?
Anybody wants to stay here for the rest of the evening?
Any abstain? Okay, thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned. Really appreciate our work together today. And thank you
very much.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice rest of your afternoon.